Well, howdy, physics sleuths and inquisitive souls, and welcome again to another episode of Dynamic Gravity. So, in this lecture, we're going to go off into a completely new form of governance that I like to call the subscription based government. And basically, I believe this is the future. This is the only way that humanity is going to survive. Because the current form of government, or all governments that we've been using, are horribly inadequate. And people are really getting sick and tired of feeling like they're not being represented at all by political parties or whoever's in charge. I mean, I don't even know if God ever even did try and leave us with a proper government style, or just left us to try and figure it out with our tribal selves, the best way we could. So then Athens comes along and they create democracy. Democracy, right? Yay, democracy. Once again, to me, it's just gang rape. Only instead of having one guy decide who gets gang raped, you take votes. Yeah, yeah. Guess what? Five guys that decide to gang rape one girl, and one guy says, let's all have a vote. Everyone here that wants to gang rape this girl and then kill her, say aye. And then all the guys are like, yeah, aye. And the girl's like, no, nay, nay, boo. This is the worst ideal ever. Too bad, so sad. Democracy, the will of the majority. Five guys said yes, and one person said no. Democracy. Enjoy your gang rape / murder. So once again, the system is garbage. It doesn't protect you from people's ill malice and them forming cliques and gangs and groups, mobs, whatever, like people do inherently as their tribal selves. Think of your experience back in high school. Did it not seem kind of cliquish, really, with all the groups of people? The nerds and the jocks and the superstars and the cheerleaders and da 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 da. I mean, come on, man. People do this. This is what people do. They find people who have like interests or even don't, and they just pretend to have like interests to have support and to feel a part of something. And then they say, okay, let's collectively work together and screw over this group because we don't like them. And they're bad. Democracy. And people are sick of this. They're sick and tired of this. They don't want to live like this anymore, but they don't know of a better way to live. And so they lash out, like we had the prophesized in Revelations. I showed you in Revelations, where it says, the second beast, America, suffered a mortal head wound and then immediately recovered and rallied his followers to fight. A Trump assassination attempt. And thank goodness that guy was a horrible shot. The government does not work for you. We need a new social contract, a new order to establish, a new system of governance that's fair for everyone. And I got it. I spent years working on this, perfecting it, adding this and taking this away. And so I thought it was exactly right where it needs to be. And if you think that the American political system is not rigged, let me show you something. Come here. Let me show you something. Okay? Here's a list of all the presidents. Well, first let's start where it began. Okay? In 1824, it's widely known that this is pretty much America's first major rigged election. Okay? It was between like John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. All right? John Quincy Adams and Andrew Jackson. And it was basically a gentleman's agreement they had that they made in some cigar smoke-filled back room, right? Where they let John Quincy Adams become president first, and then Andrew Jackson be some, I don't know, position he'd get or whatever. And then the next election, he would get to be president. And he did. And this is how it played out. This is the first rigged election. And since then, I've had doubts about whether every election is rigged. And let me show you why. Come here. Let me show you why this bullshit system doesn't work. All right? Got George Washington, the first one, uncorruptible, unparty. We got John Adams, okay, whatever. Democratic Republican Party creation. Here we go, 1800, all right? So it's kind of a combination of the two parties. They really haven't had much differences yet. It is what it is. And then here we go. Here's the rigged election, all right? 1825. And now the party split. Things start changing radically in the political landscape. The mafia is now in charge, okay? The gang of people that I told you and what they do is now in charge. And they are going to rig the elections however they need to preserve their power and the way they want things done, not the way the voters want them done. Remember that. So we got the Democratic Party, right? In this one, National Republican Party, but really it's just the anti-Jackson Party. It's not quite Republican Party yet. But the Whig Party pops up right after that, okay? So we got the Democratic Party and the Whig is the precursor to the Republican Party, so essentially the Republican Party, okay? So we've got 3 terms, Democrat, right? Andrew Jackson, it was rigged. And then he got it again, probably rigged again. And then his vice president got it, starting that good old trend. And, you know, that pretty much is probably rigged as well, for all we know. Now the Republicans get their turn. All right, now we get the Whig. Now we get 2 terms of Whig, okay? So we got 3 terms of Democrat, 2 terms of Whig/Republican, okay? Now we got 1 term of Democrat, 2 terms of Whig/Republican, 2 terms of Democrat, 2 terms of Republican, almost a third. This guy looks like he switched halfway through. I don't know what's going on with that one. Now we got the Civil Wars in full effect, right? And the Democrats tried to keep racism. They were the party of racism. They wanted to keep the slaves picking the cotton forever and ever and ever. The Democrats wanted. And they were the ones that fought in the South, the Democrats, South. And they wanted to succeed. So they got punished for this. And the deal was broken between, you know, the seesaw, the teeter, whatever, of constantly switching back and forth. Who's going to get the charge and rule the country, Republicans or Democrats? So they got kicked out for a while. So now we got 1, 2, 3, 4 terms, 5 terms Republican after the Civil War because the Democrats lost the war. Now we got a new deal broker, all right? Now we got Democrat again and Republican. Okay, one Democrat, 1 Republican. 1 Democrat. 4 Republicans. This is interesting. Not sure what this is. Maybe this is World War I or something. Not sure what happened there, but that's definitely crazy, right? Definitely goes against my evidence. Now we're back to it. 2 terms Democrat. 3 terms Republican. Now we're World War II. Everything's out the window. Just FDR getting appointed for life as president. Something that's never supposed to happen, but war. So now this is all broken apart. Okay? Now we get back to it. Back in the 50s. All right? 2 terms Republican. 2 terms Democrat. 3 terms Republican. 1 term Democrat. 3 terms Republican. 2 terms Democrat. 2 terms Republican, 2 terms Democrat, 1 term Republican, 1 term Democrat. You notice how it's just this constant teetering back and forth. There's no dominance of majority ruling here. That tells you this system is being manipulated. It's being finagled, whether it be by God and his plan, whether it be by human corruption, whether it be some other factor going on. There is 100% rigging and manipulation going on in this system. Statistically, to have such a seesaw, like, 2 terms Republican, 2 terms Democrats, whatever, back and forth, it's very, very rare. Very rare. And this is the case all around the world. It's not just America, it's every country is split right down the middle, 60-40, between conservative and liberal. And they just keep going back and forth with the power. And maybe that's the illusion of the game, is to make it seem that everybody gets their guy in there at least once in a while so you don't have civil unrest and civil war. Maybe that's why it's like that. I don't know. But I know this, it's definitely being finagled, and you shouldn't trust it. And you shouldn't trust the parties that put themselves before their voters. So, now that we established the problem, what are we going to do about it? We're going to institute the uh, subscription-based government. How does this work? All right. The way this works is we have to have a good, solid constitution, okay? It's always got to be a solid constitution, okay? Ours has done us very well, and we stole ours from Switzerland. Theirs has done theirs very well too, okay? Got to have a constitution. Ground rules that apply to everyone all the time, that cannot be broken, that are basically rights that the voters, citizens have against their government. Against their government. That's what the Constitution is. It's the rights that the voters have, citizens have against their governments, okay? So you got to have a good, solid Constitution. So that's where it begins, okay? Now, as much as I would love to abolish the party system, it's not going to happen. People are tribal, as I've explained. They're cliquish in nature. They're always going to have their gangs they want to create. Hence, you're always going to have parties, whether it be affiliated or whether it be under the table. You know what I mean? It's going to be done. So, we have to create a system that's going to be able to deal with that. Okay? Now, what does that system look like? Well, it looks something like this. Here is my work. I did my last episode on time dilation. What is time? Explaining time. There's the math I created for it. If you're curious about time, go back and take a look at that. All right. Now, here's what we got. So we got the Constitution, right? Is in charge. Constitution. Probably not doing this right at all. Whatever. Okay? That is the supreme authority. Now, under that, we still got to have a president. Okay? Got to have him. You got to have someone who's in charge, who's going to make all the decision, and who is going to be the face of your country to other countries, to other world leaders. You have to have a president. And if we got to have a president, we got to have a vice president. Okay? So we're going to have a vice president. V-pres. But here's where things start getting different. Okay? And they're going to get radically different pretty quickly. Okay? The president is the majority of the people. All right? We're not going to do any more of this jerry-rigging, gerrymandering, zoning, all this sort of stuff. It's just simply majority rules, okay? I know some of you are cringing right now. I'm going to get there. You guys stick with me and let me explain this, okay? The vice president is going to be the second runner-up always. Whoever got the second most votes, who would have won if not for the president being there. That's going to be the vice president, okay? The president does not get to choose his buddy to be the vice president. That is done, gone. No, it's going to be the president is elected and the runner-up gets vice president. That's the way it used to be. But then, like I said, it was changed because people were trying to scam the system in various ways. And also, they wanted their guy put in there, their do boy to be the president, not the guy they were running against who was opposing, who was, who's trying to, whatever, sabotage the administration, whatever they want to say. So the vice president's going to have very limited power, okay? I mean, he is going to be there, and he is going to be able to be the voice of reason sometimes, but keep in mind, the president is the one with all the power. The vice president is just there in case something happens to the president, and the vice president's going to have some sort of task. We can discern what these are later, so the people feel like they're being represented somewhat, the people that voted for him and lost, okay? Now we're just going to have the Senate, okay? But things are going to be different here, okay? The Senate is not going to make any laws, okay? In fact, to be honest, I don't even know if you need a Senate. We might not even need a Senate. Let's try without them first and see how far we get. But we do need a Congress because we got to have a Congress to do things like allot funds, do stuff that Congress does, that we really can't have everybody voting on every single thing. We got to have people that are going to do the what is it when you do responsibility and push it onto someone else, low responsibility. Anyways, whatever. They got to do something. They got to be representation and people to vote for beyond the president, okay? So that's what they're going to do, all right? Now, here is where things start getting really interesting, okay? The bottom layer, which makes this whole thing work beautifully, are going to be the political parties, okay? And I know I hear you right now, but John, you said the political parties are bad. They are in their current iteration, which is why we're going to slay them and bring them back and resurrect them as a different entity altogether, okay? What we're going to have is essentially anyone can create a political party, okay? And everyone who runs for a position, whether it be president, vice president, or whatever, Senate, Congress, they all have to be affiliated with a political party. You have to be affiliated with a political party. And when you pick that party, you're locked in that party, my friend. You're locked into it for 1 year until the tax season comes around and you have to file your taxes. When you file your taxes, that is when you then again either renew that political party as your party or pick another one. But if you pick them for like 2024, that's it, man. For 2024, that's your political party. You don't get to change. Sorry. That's not how it works. Okay? Now, I know, you're like, this sounds horrible. We're getting there. Okay? So, we've got political parties. Anybody can start a political party. Now, you do have to have so many subs that want to be in that political party before the political party will be active and you can have people running on behalf of that party or that party doing what that party does. I'm about to explain that. Okay, so we've got anybody can make a party, but you have to have, let's say, an arbitrary number we choose, something not too unrealistic, but something that's not just one dude. It may be 1 million people have to be subbed to this party before this party becomes active, and now you can have politicians run from this party, or this party becomes active, and now here's the catch. The political parties make the rules, okay? So we have our Constitution, stuff like, you should be able to live without being murdered or raped or whatever, and everybody should have the not be spied on or whatever, have right to guns or this or that. Constitutional rights cannot be messed with, not by the president, not by the vice president, not by the Senate, and not by the Congress, okay? The only way that the Constitution can be amended or changed in any way is if everybody is on board and agrees including the people, not just the parties, but the people also vote and democracy style vote. And they agree that this change is for the better. And the change has to be one that benefits the people. You can never take away rights from the Constitution. You can never say, well, you had the right to not be spied on, but now you don't. No. If it's in the Constitution, you can never take it away. You can only add to it. You can only add more rights that people have. Oh, and you cannot be spied on like this or that. You can add more rights to protect the people, but you can never take away. All right? That preserves the Constitution. All right? And the way these votes are going to be done is going to all be online. I mean, we can still have places that vote manually, but why? Why? Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody can just vote online. You can make an online secured account, okay? I mean, there's really no reason in this day and age why we can't all vote online from our smartphones whenever we want, okay? There's no reason at all. You might be like, well, online is not secure. Cool story, bro. Tell that to LulzSec, all right? LulzSec is a branch off of Anonymous, a hacking group, okay? And I guess Anonymous was just too vanilla for these guys, so they branched off and created LulzSec after a lot of people in Anonymous got caught hacking too. Foreshadowing. And LulzSec was like one of the most premier hacking groups the world has ever seen, bro. These guys hacked everything. They destroyed the Sony online station, like Xbox online stations. They hacked security websites. I remember there's security websites I saw where they're like, if you can hack our website, we'll pay you $100,000 and give you a job making $100,000 working for us. LulzSec hacked it like the next day and put their logo on their stupid website. And they said, keep your money. It was literally child's play for us. You're not even worth it. That's how bad these guys are, okay? They're really, really, really ruthless. And they made a mistake, though. They thought they were untouchable. And so they threatened to hack the FBI. They threatened to hack the FBI database and release all the names of undercover FBI agents. 6 days after that threat was made. 6 days, not even a week. Every single one of them were rounded up in Barcelona, Spain, where their headquarters were, and put in handcuffs and taken to jail. That's how long it took our intelligence agencies to locate them and find out who they were. 6 days. And this was the most powerful, talented, and experienced hacking group the world has ever known. And they couldn't even make it a full week against the NSA. So the ideal that we can't secure things online is just ridiculous, okay? We can make them perfectly secure. There's nothing that can be done that won't be seen by assets like the NSA, okay? And they can undo it, whatever, everything. It's impossible to get away with cybercrime these days against a resource like the NSA. If they don't want you to get away, you're going to get caught. So all online. And this brings up another concept 2 weeks after this. There's going to be no more donations, no more running, campaigning, advertisements. Nope, none of that bullshit. If you're going to run, you have to declare it. Like if you're going to run for any position, anybody can run, but you have to declare it on the official vote.com website, whatever it's going to be that we're going to have. And it is basically you declare it there, and then you upload, say, a video, 5-minute video explaining your platform, what you're going to do. If you've got any record before, it's going to have all your voting history, everything there, and then whatever information you want to put. And people who are looking will go through and search these database of the people that they feel resonate best with their beliefs, and they will vote for that. And maybe you can have multiple votes. It doesn't have to be I only have one vote to blow. Maybe there's 3 guys I like, and if any one of these 3 guys win, I'm happy. So I'll put a vote for each one of them and hope that one of them win. Totally possible we can do this. This is not a problem. All right? So there's going to be no need to do fundraising. No more fundraising, okay? To run, to campaign. It's all going to be on the website. If you care enough to vote, you will go to the website and look to see who the runners up are, the winning people, whatever, and pick one that you like best. And if you don't care to vote, then you won't vote. And why you need to see all the advertisements, anyways. Okay? And it's not going to cost anything, it's all going to be free. So there's no need to raise any money. No politicians, no political parties are going to be indebted to any corporations or any big lobbyist money. It's gone, just like that. It's gone. I took it away. It's gone forever. Okay? Now, not only do we have no political parties, I mean, we do have political parties. We have no fundraising is allowed for any politicians. Okay. We're also going to take away terms. No more terms. Well, I mean, there's a term. There's going to be one term you're allowed to have. One term. That's it. One term. And we're going to double the length of terms so the term is long enough he can actually get done what he wants to get done. So if you're a president, all right, you're going to be president. You won the presidency. You're going to be president for 8 years. 8 years you're going to be president. You won the Senate. All right, cool. You're going to be Senate for 6 years. You won Congress. Okay, cool. You're going to be Congress for 4 years. You know, whatever. We're going to double the length, but you get no re-election. None. Zero. I don't care. Oh, what if we like him and we want him to run again? I don't care. He did what he was going to do. He promised to do what he was going to do. He did it. He was a good president. Good Congress, whatever. Now let someone else have their try. All right? And it's not even going to matter. This isn't going to matter, news. I'm going to teach you why in a second. I'm not even remotely done. We're just getting started on this. This is ridiculous. I've spent a lot of time working this out, okay? Now, not only are we going to have no re-election, okay? But we will allow you to run for another office. So let's say you started off in Congress, okay? And you're like, yeah, I was Congress, I did it for 4 years, and everybody loved me. Cool. Now you want to try Senate. Okay, yeah, I was Senate, I did it for 6 years, everybody loved me. Cool. Now you run for president. Yeah, I'm president. Okay, now you're done. You use all the positions, you're done. You're a career politician, you're out. Goodbye. See you. So there's no re-election. Once you're Congress and you're successfully done the Congress, you can never run for it again. Ever, ever, ever. Ever. Okay? Ever. Same thing with president, too. But like I say, the terms are double. So essentially, we're just giving them one term, but it's a double term. And this also is going to help fight a lot of the corruption. Because when people get power and they get in office, what's the first thing they do with that power? They try and consolidate it to make it so they can stay in office as long as they can, longer than they should. Look at like Thurman Thompson, whatever. Dude, or Joe Biden, really? Bro's going to be in the political game, voted in? Like everybody voted this guy in charge for like 40 years running. At this position, that position, whatever. 40 years running, really. There's no rigging. There's no finagling going on. There's no manipulation going on there. Zero? Really? There will be no re-election allowed. Okay? All right. Now here is where things really start getting awesome. Okay? Now, not only do the parties, can anyone start your own party, but a party has the power and authority. Like they have to support, let's say they have to give half their money that they raise from taxes. You still got to pay taxes. When you file taxes and they take your tax money for that year, let's say they have to give half of that to the federal government. Okay? So the federal government gets half of your tax revenue. And the federal government does things like maintain the military, maintain the roads, I don't know, projects, whatever. The government has all this money that they're going to spend, to try and do whatever the president and the Senate and Congress think needs to be done to make America proper. But the other half of the money, that is entirely up to the party to spend. Now, there will be rules like the party can't spend on themselves. They can't just take all the money. They have to spend it on the voters or what the voters want or whatever. So this is where things get interesting, right? So we're going to put a caveat in here. You can do anything you want with that tax revenue that the party collects as long as it doesn't, A, violate Constitution. Constitution is first and foremost. Constitution cannot violate. If it says you don't rape and murder people, then you can't have a party. It's like, well, I want to rape and murder people. Sorry, it goes against the Constitution. And as long, the second caveat is as long as it doesn't harm or attack another party directly. It can hurt them indirectly. We're adults, but it cannot be directly. So let's give an example, all right? Let's start some examples so you know what I'm talking about. All right? You have a political party, all right? Let's call them the Blue Meanies. And the Blue Meanies, they're about, they're about like healthcare, good healthcare. They're going to give you a good premium healthcare plan. And college, maybe they want to give you a reduced college fee or free college admission, and maybe they want like abortions or something, abortions. I don't know. Then the president, the vice president, the Senate, and the Congress have zero say in how they spend that money. And if they want to spend that money giving people good education, good health care, and abortions, they can do that. All right? Now, let's say you got another party called the Bad Reds. And the Bad Reds, they're not about that. They don't care about, healthcare so much. They don't care. They don't want abortion to be legal, So if you're in the Blue Meanies party, okay, let's say you're in party number 1, party number 2, say you're in party number 1, okay? The cop, he can look it up. It's on your driver's license, maybe not on your driver's license. It's on some record what party you're in, okay? It's all public record. You can't hide it. So people know, okay? He's in this party. He's in the Blue Meanies, okay? The Blue Meanies. The Blue Meanies, if you're in the Blue Meanies, you can have an abortion. Sorry. That's what they want. BM, Blue Meanies. And Bad Reds. So the Blue Meanies, they want abortion, okay? They want abortion. Duh. And they want good health care. And they want, good education. They can take all that money, that revenue that they accumulated from the tax season, and they can spend it on this stuff. They can spend it on abortions, getting doctors qualified for abortions, whatever, healthcare. And let's say the Bad Reds, they want cheaper taxes. They don't want to pay the same tax rate. They want a lower tax rate. So they're not going to give you healthcare. You got to find your own healthcare. Maybe you're healthy and you don't need healthcare. So no healthcare, but cheaper tax rate. Okay? Cheaper tax rate. And maybe the Blue Meanie or the Bad Reds, maybe they don't think abortion's good. So if you're in the Bad Reds, you cannot have abortion. No abortion. Sorry, we're not going to have abortion. But maybe there's something else. Like I don't want to use gun control. I know that's a huge difference between two major parties. But let's say gun control is a constitutional right, so you can't mess with it, all right? But let's say if it wasn't a constitutional right, okay, they want gun control. So if you're in the bad reds, you can own a gun. So if you're in the blue meanies, you're allowed to have an abortion, but you can't own a gun. If you're in the bad reds, you can't have an abortion, but you can have a gun, okay? Do you kind of see how this is starting to fit and work together? You subscribe to the lifestyle that you want to your taxes to fund. The government no longer gets to say that. The government no longer gets to be like, well, I'm in the Democratic Party and I'm in charge now, and I say this is the law of the land for everybody as long as we can keep them powered. Great. Well, I hate to break it to you, but half the country ain't about that shit. And they're pissed. And they don't want it. And don't want to live like that. And they don't want to pay money to that. They don't want to prop that system up. They don't want any fucking part of it. They don't. And this is why I go on my rant earlier about why we're going to all have this nice civil war soon. Because everybody thinks that they're right. Cool. And everybody thinks they should impose their righteousness on everybody else. But you know what? That's not righteousness. If you have to impose it on everybody else with force and violence, that's not righteousness. That's tyranny. I don't care if you think it's right. It's tyranny. So this system basically makes it so that there should always be a party, because there could be unlimited parties. Maybe not unlimited, but there can be many. There could be like 100 parties, all right? There should always be at least one party that you feel represents your needs. And if there isn't, then make it. Anybody can make a party. And once you have like 1 million people, then you will be a legitimate party, able to do whatever you want. Now, there will be also, additionally, like, not only will you be able to vote for your party doing this or that, like say your party's like, we're going to have a vote whether we still want to incorporate this or buff this or take more money away from this benefit and buff this one, blah, blah, blah. You can have all these discussions in your parties and votes, real time, vote, 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 vote. I'm going to go, party wants to do that, I want to vote against that, I want to vote for this, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Maybe there has to be a system that we all agree is fair and equitable for that. All right? So, the system will be something as this. Okay? Now, I haven't decided yet if this will be just purely affect parties or if this could also affect, let's say, a constitutional level. Probably constitutional level, because the parties can just do whatever the hell they want. So the constitutional level, the way people can vote for change, like let's say the times have changed and there's parts of the Constitution just don't hold up after a couple 100 years, or there needs to be new stuff, people want to vote, some guy is like, hey, I want to vote that we build this new bridge, okay? Or not, a new bridge or a new dam, whatever. I want to do this new infrastructure project with the government resources that we have, the federal funds. So what he's going to do is he's going to propose, remember how we have to, declare that we're running? Well, if we want to change the law, we have to propose it. We have to make a proposal. And then people who are interested in this proposal will vote on it and give it their approval and say, I approve. I want this proposal. After you have, let's say, 1% of the entire population, so of America, that would be like maybe 3 million people, to say I want this new bridge built here. And maybe it takes more percent, the more money allocated it uses, okay? Maybe the less money it allocates, the less people need to approve it. But it is 2 votes. We have to have 1 to approve it. And once we reach that approval limit, say 1% of the population, now it is approved to be voted on. So now it becomes a full-fledged bill that will be voted on, but it will not be the president voting on. That's not his job. His job is to deal with other governments and stuff, you know. And it won't be the vice president's job. Maybe his job is something else. And it won't be the Senate's job. I don't know what their job is yet. And it won't be the Congress's job. Their job is to allot funds, okay? And it won't be the party's job because the party doesn't have that kind of authority. It will ultimately be the bottom of the barrel, baby. The people's job. The people will all vote on whether or not it gets passed or not as a bill. And once a month we'll have a day where everybody gets on their phone and votes. Da 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 da. I like this bill. I don't like this bill. I like this bill. I don't like this bill. Click 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 click. I approve this, and they vote for this bill that was approved because 1% of the people said, "I think this is a good ideal. This should be voted on by the masses." Okay, so we got 1%. Now we got majority rules, baby. Now we got majority rules. Did more people vote for it or against it? If more people voted for it, it's now the law of the land. Okay? But remember, if it's going to augment the Constitution, it has to not only have the majority, but the support of the president, the vice president, the Senate, the Congress, and the parties. If anyone disagrees, it's not in our best interest, then it kills any amendment to the Constitution. But for, say, someone to allocate government resources, like to build a dam or a bridge, or, I don't know, buff up the military, or not buy into this new F-22 program that Congress approved. The people can vote against whatever Congress does, whatever. All right? Then that's how we decide. Essentially, it is a pure democracy. It is a democracy because everything that matters is voted on by the people. But it's not a true democracy, and that we still have a constitution to protect everybody from being gang raped. And we have limits in place where, we can create a party that does whatever we want, that gives us whatever we want with our money. Say you want a party that's going to build the wall. Build the wall. Build the wall. It's going to cost like $1 trillion. Build the wall. All right. Well, we're going to create a party called Build the Wall. And yeah, they're going to offer this and that and this. But at the end of the day, most of the money is going to go to building the wall because that's what the party is there for. The party says, we think there's a need to have a wall between us and Mexico. Can we get enough people on board to subscribe to our political party to do that, to pay for that? And if they can, ain't no blue meanies or red baddies or whatever can't come in and say, we're going to make a party that's going to stop them from building the wall. Yeah, stop the wall. Stop the wall. No. You cannot mess with another party. If there's enough people that want their money allocated to that resource, then that's where it has to go. And you don't get a say. And that is called equality. That is called freedom. Because I can't mess with you, but you can't mess with me either. So if there's something that I want done that everybody resonates with, it's going to get done. And you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. And that is the beauty of this system. That's where the balance is. It allows ample opportunity for real change to get whatever you want out of your tax revenue to be attributed to. Excuse me. Drain damage from the war. But at the end of the day, it is rigid enough with the Constitution in place and limits of not being able to mess with the parties that you can still expect plenty of freedoms and rights that will never be trampled upon. All right? Okay, so let's see. Did I miss anything? The party cannot be voted on. Majority rules. Constitution cannot be altered. Congress will vote to allocate funds. Okay, terms of bill, vice president term. Okay, I think we got almost everything. Anyone can start. Political party. Different rules. Okay. Yeah. New branch government. Oh yeah, that's what I forgot. That was pretty good song. And just to be 100% certain that these people that we do elect to do this or that, because they do yield a lot of power. I mean, they may not yield as much power as, say, a political party yields. I mean, this is actually backwards. A political party actually should be above the president in a lot of ways, because the political party can do whatever they want, and the president can't. But there will have to be a new office created, like the FBI was intended to be, that does nothing but chase after corruption in the government. Political parties, whatever, they're corrupt. And as far as I'm concerned, any act of corruption will automatically be assumed to be full out treason with a death sentence attached to it. And it will be the person's responsibility to prove that it was not full out treason. Maybe they were just stupid. Maybe they were just greedy. But as far as I'm concerned, any act that anyone does, like, well, that's clearly not in line with what people want. As far as I'm concerned, that's considered treason and it carried by a death sentence. A death sentence. Yeah. I'll bet you the president and the Congress start acting a whole lot better now. How much money you want to bet? I'll bet you everything they do. I'll bet you corruption just disappears overnight. How much you want to bet? All right. And also, we're going to change the justice system a little bit too. All right. No longer are we going to have one judge deciding whether someone is guilty judicially or not. Okay. There's always going to be double judges. No decision that's going to infect your life in any serious way is ever again going to be decided by just one person. It is always going to be at least two people that have to be in unanimous agreement. So you're going to have two judges. They're going to be in the courtroom. And if one judge, he's like, yo, man, I don't think this guy did it. And they're just, well, I think he did. Well, we couldn't come to agreement. So as far as concerned, this case is dropped because we did not see things eye to eye, which shows you how different the case would have been with this judge versus that judge, okay? And maybe even go as far to have multiple judges, like 6 judges, and they all have to agree. They all have to be like, yes, we all agree this dude is guilty of sin. And there's one judge, it's like, nope, I don't think he's guilty, man. I don't think he is. Then booyah, dude walks free. All right? This is going to fight a lot of the judicial corruption we have in place right now. That's going to help a lot with that. That's the purpose of that. Okay? Now, everything is going to be, like I said, all votes are going to be done in real time online. So you can see. The tide is starting to shift. No more of this hiding shit. No. You're going to see. Oh, shit, everybody's voting for this guy. Why is that? Let me take a look at his platform. Oh, I see now why they're voting for him. Maybe. So, yeah, everything's going to be in real time. And not only going to have 2 judges deciding things, but there's going to be no such thing as a prison sentence for less than a year. Prison is going to be for the worst offenders, okay? Yeah. Prison is going to be, if you get sentenced to prison, 100% you're there for at least 1 full year. 100%. Okay? You'd be like, well, what do we do about if someone drink drives? Well, if they didn't kill anybody, and it's not manslaughter, and it's just simply drunk driving, they're not going to go to jail for that. What they're going to get is going to be called rehabilitation. And rehabilitation will take form of one of a few ways. It will take form on either a fine. It will take form in either rehabilitation, like going to a rehabilitation center. Like if you're a drug addict, then they're going to send you to a rehabilitation center. Like, oh, rehabilitation center. We're going to teach you. You're going to have to live there for a week, and we're going to teach you how to do this properly and blah, 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 and try and break out of these bad habits. Or the third option that the judges can decide, whichever one they want, will be flogging. Yeah, baby. We're bringing back flogging. And not just any flogging, public flogging. Oh, yeah. It's all going to be public. It's all going to be public. So let's say you do something stupid, like you drunk drive. And the judge is like, all right, well, you didn't hurt anybody, you didn't kill anybody, you didn't do anything. All you did was just swerve in the road when no one was there and the cop pulled you over. You broke the law, but we have to punish you. And this is like the third time you've done this. And so the first time we gave you a fine. The second time we gave you rehabilitation. Well, now things are more severe. We don't want to give you prison time for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to flog the shit out of you. We're going to give you 3 floggings. 3 floggings or 5 floggings or 1 flogging, whatever the crime deserves. And it's going to be a whip. It's going to hurt. Oh, it's going to hurt. Think like Singapore. Like when they do their flogging, yeah, think like that. It's going to be like that. It's not going to be a simple, no, you're going to cry. You're going to cry, and you're going to wish to God you didn't do whatever the hell you did. And this is great, because this is going to take away a lot of the congestion in the jails. You're going to have people, they're going to be getting punished with pain in just over a couple of minutes as compared to being thrown to rot in a jail for like 6-8 months, you know? And it's like, I'm telling you, man, that pain factor, there's a lot of people that need that. I've met a lot of sociopaths in my time. And sociopaths are the worst of the worst, okay? Like, I'm a full-blown psychopath. Full-blown. Full-blown. Sociopaths are my mortal enemy. They're my nemesis to the death. They're the exact opposite of me in almost every way imaginable. Like sociopaths and psychopaths, complete opposites in every possible regard, except for one. They're both kinky, and they both like, whatever. Yeah, crazy sex, that's it. Every other way, they're complete 180% difference. So, and one of the ways is sociopaths, they believe firmly that they are the greatest thing on the planet. Psychopaths believe everybody's trash, me included. We're not special. You're not special. I'm not special. We're all trash. Get over it. Sociopaths think, no, you're trash. I'm God. Okay? Sociopaths think like they have a God-given right to screw you over forever, over everything. And so they can't help but just try and contrive all these schemes and scams to screw people over however they can. They think it's their right. They really think that's why they're here on this planet. They're the worst of the worst. Psychopaths don't mess with people, okay? Now, if you mess with a psychopath, yeah, you're damn skippy they're going to mess with you back. They'll kill you. They don't care. Sociopaths, they'll never kill you. Well, okay, they will kill you if they get away with it without threatening themselves or getting threatened by getting arrested in any way, shape, or form. They absolutely will kill you. I've seen it done before. Psychopaths, they don't care. Once they decide you need to die, you're going to die. End of discussion. Only God can stop it now. But so there's a lot of sociopaths, and I'm telling you, man, the only thing these people respond to is violence. You cannot talk a sociopath out of acting like a sociopath. You cannot give them a pill that will make them stop behaving like a sociopath. It doesn't exist. You cannot threaten them. You cannot bully them. You cannot do anything other than just hurt them with pain to make them hate their life choices. And I've seen it. I've seen sociopaths like change, at least temporarily, from pain. It's the only thing I've seen that it actually breaks through to them, but it's only temporarily. But it does break through for at least a little bit. So there are people that there's nothing that will make them reconsider their life choices but pain in the form of a good flogging, whipping, whatever. That's it. Ass beating, whatever you want to call it. It has to be a thing because there's people that will respond to nothing but that. Hence, it must be. Apologies. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That pretty much, I think, fully encompasses how my subscription-based government would work, how my form of governance would work if, oh, I don't know, let's say hypothetically Putin were to get pissed off with how the war in Ukraine is going in about 18 months from now and just hit that button and nuke every NATO country like he promised he would. And let's say everything falls apart at that point, and now we're all kind of warlordish and tribal, and we have to reestablish a full-fledged government. And now we have an opportunity to change things and to make things different, to make things better, to make things serve us for once, as compared to us serving it for no gain at all. This is something I hope you think about. Of all my ideals, I believe this one is probably the most beneficial for humanity. 100%. 100%. Because we have to come up with a way to rule over each other, to have order, law and order. But it has to be a way that we don't feel like we're getting screwed over with what we want to accomplish in our lives, like the way we currently have going on, where it's winner take all, where people vote for this. Oh, great. Blue team's in charge, and now they're going to do whatever the hell they want for as long as they're in charge. It's a republic, man. It's almost the worst form of government at all, because some person just promises you stuff, and then you elect them, and then they can do whatever they want. At least in a democracy, you have the ability to get rid of them, to vote them out. But in a republic, no. That's the whole point of the system. You voted them in, now they're in, and now they're going to do whatever they want. And as I said, there's half the country that just ain't about it, man. They ain't about what the other half of the country wants. They don't want that. They're not down with that. Okay? So, all I can say is I hope you've taken my words seriously on this one. This is probably one of my most important lectures for all of humanity. At least I hope so, because if we don't come up with a system better than what I got now, or start using what I got now, I'm telling you, man, we're at the age where it's too easy for one person to just tear it all down. Are you starting to see why we have to come up with a system that's going to actually work for everyone equally at the same time? And not just this winner-take-all republic bullshit of the only person that really wins is the person that got voted in power for the next 4 years. It's bullshit. We can do better. I promise you. Anyways, I'm done. I'm going to get drunk and play video games. If you made it this far, God bless you. I love you. Catch you on the flip side. Adios.
Like, subscribe, submit.